Hey everyone, welcome to our latest discussion on cutting-edge AI research. Today we're diving into a fascinating paper titled AlphaGeometry, an Olympiad-level AI system for geometry. This work comes from a collaboration between some brilliant minds at Google DeepMind and New York University. It's truly a remarkable piece of research in the field of artificial intelligence.
Sounds intriguing. I've always been curious about how AI can tackle complex geometry problems. It's like having a math Olympian in the form of an AI system, isn't it?
Exactly. The paper is authored by Trio Tring, Yuhai Wu, Kwok V. Lei from Google DeepMind, and He He and Thang Luong from New York University. It's amazing to see such a diverse team coming together to push the boundaries of AI.
I'm really looking forward to understanding how they've approached this challenge. Geometry isn't just about numbers, it's about visual and spatial intelligence, too.
You're absolutely right. Let's delve into this paper and see how AlphaGeometry is revolutionizing the way AI understands and solves complex geometry problems. Shall we get started?
Definitely, let's go.
Geometry, a cornerstone of logical reasoning, often presents unique challenges, doesn't it? That's where this next slide comes into play. Mathematical Olympiads have long been recognized for their rigorous testing of logical abilities. But when it comes to geometry, there's a twist.
I see it's not just about solving problems. There's this language barrier in geometry, right? Like, you need a deep understanding of math, which is beyond what we're focusing on here.
Precisely. And that's not all. The scarcity of training data for learning methods is a real bottleneck. It means that geometry proving hasn't kept up with the recent leaps in neural network advancements, which heavily rely on human demonstrations.
That sounds like a significant gap in the field. So, what's the main goal of this paper then?
Here's where it gets exciting. The paper's primary objective is to create an automated geometry theorem prover. Imagine a system that can outperform human Olympiad-level reasoning in geometry, and that too without needing to translate problems into formal languages or depending on human-generated training data.
Wow, that's ambitious. An AI that can think and reason in geometry like a human, but even better. This is what sets this research apart, isn't it?
Absolutely. This approach could redefine how we understand and apply AI in solving complex geometric problems. Let's keep going and see how they've tackled this intriguing challenge. Now, let's pivot to something really groundbreaking. The key highlights of this research are nothing short of impressive. Did you know this is the first AI system to outshine the average human contestant in International Mathematical Olympiad (IMO) geometry problems?
That's remarkable. How did they manage to achieve such a feat?
Ingeniously, they bypassed the need for human demonstrations. They generated a colossal data set. Think about it, 100 million synthetic geometry theorems and proofs. This allowed the AI to learn autonomously how to construct auxiliary points, a critical skill in geometry.
So it's like teaching itself to solve problems by creating its own learning materials. That's some next-level AI learning.
Absolutely. And it didn't just learn. It excelled, outperforming the state-of-the-art on a tough 30-problem IMO benchmark. But there's more. This AI didn't just solve problems, it discovered generalizations beyond the target theorems.
You mean it found solutions that were even more broadly applicable than the original problems?
Exactly. For example, it found a more general theorem than the translated statement from IMO 2004. Plus, its proof traceback feature is brilliant. It helps detect unnecessary premises in theorems.
That's like having an insightful math mentor who not only solves problems but also teaches you to understand them more deeply.
Precisely. And the best part? This framework isn't just limited to geometry. It's applicable to other domains of theorem proving that suffer from data scarcity. The potential here is vast.
This is beyond just solving geometry problems. It's about evolving the way AI interacts with and understands complex mathematical concepts.
Elevating our discussion to a stellar accomplishment, let's marvel at how AlphaGeometry is redefining excellence in IMO geometry. The stats are just awe-inspiring.
Oh, I'm all ears. What's the scoop here?
Picture this. AlphaGeometry successfully solved 25 out of 30 problems in the IMO benchmark. That's not just good. It's almost on par with the average score of gold medalists.
Whoa, that's like an AI climbing to the top of the mathematical Olympiad podium. But how does it compare to human performance?
Here's where it gets even more astonishing. AlphaGeometry is the very first solver to eclipse the average human performance in proving classical Euclidean geometry theorems from IMO competitions. Considering the limitations of translating these complex problems, this achievement is nothing short of a milestone.
That's monumental. It's like watching a new champion emerge in the arena of mathematical reasoning.
Indeed. While it's tailored for a specific type of problem, this leap forward showcases the immense potential of AI in mastering tasks that require deep, logical thinking and problem-solving skills.
This isn't just a win for AI in geometry. It's a testament to how far we've come in crafting intelligent systems capable of tackling some of the most challenging problems in mathematics.
As we delve deeper, let's illuminate the limitations of existing approaches in geometry theorem proving. Understanding these constraints helps us appreciate the breakthroughs of AlphaGeometry even more.
I'm curious, what were the main hurdles before AlphaGeometry?
Firstly, we have the computer algebra methods. These can theoretically decide geometry theorems, but they're like a black box, low on interpretability. Plus, their time complexity often skyrockets, making them impractical for complex problems.
So, they're powerful but kind of like using a sledgehammer to crack a nut, and without really understanding the nut.
Exactly. Then, there are heuristic search methods, relying on deduction rules and human expertise. The downside? They're shackled by hand-coded templates, limiting their flexibility and adaptability.
Seems like they're trapped in a predefined way of thinking, huh?
Precisely. Lastly, the translation of geometry problems into general languages poses its own set of challenges. It's an incredibly tough task, requiring deep mathematical expertise. This falls outside the realm of developing reasoning methods and leads to a severe scarcity of geometry training data.
Sounds like before AlphaGeometry, the field was grappling with methods that were either too rigid, too opaque, or too impractical. It's like trying to navigate a maze with the wrong map.
An apt analogy. These limitations underscore the novelty of AlphaGeometry's approach, which manages to circumvent these hurdles while achieving remarkable results. Now, let's weave through the tapestry of related works to see how AlphaGeometry distinguishes itself. It's like exploring a landscape of different approaches to understand the uniqueness of this one.
Interesting. What were the main trends in this landscape before AlphaGeometry?
Well, on one side, we had learning-based methods. These primarily used human proofs that were translated into formal languages and relied heavily on human-curated demonstrations. It's like learning from a seasoned teacher, but the scope is limited to what's already known.
So they were more about following existing paths rather than forging new ones.
Exactly. Now, in contrast, AlphaGeometry takes a leap. It generates its own synthetic theorems and proofs, completely sidestepping the need for human translations. It's like having an AI that's not just learning, but also creating its own curriculum.
That's a game changer. It's no longer just standing on the shoulders of giants, but actually growing its own wings.
Precisely. And then, there were search methods using reasoning engines and human-designed construction templates. Think of it as solving puzzles with predefined shapes.
And let me guess, AlphaGeometry breaks away from that mold too?
You hit the nail on the head. It learns constructions from scratch, totally devoid of human templates. It's like an artist who doesn't just paint by numbers, but creates their own masterpieces from a blank canvas.
This is more than innovation. It's a revolution in how AI approaches and solves geometry problems. AlphaGeometry isn't just playing the game, it's changing it.
As we turn the page to the next chapter in this journey, let's unravel the mystery of how AlphaGeometry actually tackles geometry problems. It's like watching a mastermind at work.
I'm all ears. How does this AI system go about solving these complex problems?
It starts with a symbolic deduction engine that rigorously exhausts all deductions from the given premises. Think of it as the AI laying out all the pieces of the puzzle.
And if it doesn't find the solution that way?
That's where the AI's creativity kicks in. If the proof isn't immediately apparent, the language model steps in to propose an auxiliary construction. It's like having a sidekick who suggests new angles to approach the problem.
So it's a dynamic duo of sorts, the deduction engine and the language model working in tandem.
Precisely. This collaboration grows the proof state, allowing the engine to retry finding a proof. This loop continues, a dance of sorts, until the solution is found.
It's like they're building a bridge together, piece by piece, to reach the solution.
Indeed, and the beauty lies in the complexity of the problems it can solve. For simpler problems, one construction might be enough. But take a challenging problem like IMO 2015 P3. It required 3 constructions.
That's like scaling multiple levels of reasoning to reach the summit. And the process is interpretable too, right?
Exactly. The proof steps are shown interleaved between the neural constructions and symbolic deductions, providing a clear step-by-step solving process. It's not just a black box, it's a transparent journey through the problem-solving landscape. As we continue our exploration, let's delve into the step-by-step process that AlphaGeometry employs to unravel the complexities of geometry problems. It's a fascinating blend of methodical reasoning and innovative AI techniques.
So what's the first step in this intricate dance?
It begins by sampling random premises. Using a mix of deductive and algebraic reasoning, the system generates synthetic theorems and proofs, laying the groundwork for its learning process.
And how does it build on this foundation?
The real magic happens in the next phase. The system identifies the dependency difference through traceback to extract auxiliary constructions. This is like discovering hidden paths in a maze.
Quite the detective work. What comes after that?
Next, the language model is pre-trained on these synthetic proofs, immersing itself in the world of geometric reasoning.
And then it's fine-tuned, right?
Exactly. It's fine-tuned to specialize in proposing auxiliary constructions, sharpening its focus on solving complex problems.
So, what happens when it faces a new problem?
This is where the iterative loop kicks in. The symbolic engine first tries to expand the proof state deductively. If the proof isn't found, the language model steps in with a beam search to propose new constructions.
And it keeps adding these constructions until the proof is found.
Precisely. Once the proof is found, the system post-processes to extract the minimal proof. The outcome is a powerful synergy of neural constructions and safe deductive logic engines, producing proofs that are not only correct, but also human interpretable.
It's like watching an expert craftsman at work, carefully selecting tools and techniques to create a masterpiece. The level of sophistication in AlphaGeometry's problem-solving approach is truly impressive.
Venturing further into the heart of AlphaGeometry's process, let's explore the realm of synthetic data generation. This is where the AI's creativity and analytical prowess really shine.
I'm intrigued. How does it start this creative process?
The journey begins with sampling random theorem premises. It's like planting seeds for a garden of geometric problems.
And then it nurtures these seeds into full-grown proofs.
Exactly. Using symbolic deduction, it meticulously crafts proofs from these premises. But it doesn't stop there. The system then performs a traceback to extract the minimal premises necessary for the proof, ensuring efficiency and elegance in its reasoning.
It's like pruning the garden to reveal the most beautiful and essential parts.
Precisely. This process also helps identify the dependency difference, leading to the discovery of auxiliary points, which are critical for constructing proofs.
So, what's the big picture in this data generation?
The grand scale of this operation is staggering. Imagine generating 100 million unique theorems and proofs. Through this process, the traceback method uncovers minimal proofs, and the language model learns to master auxiliary constructions.
That's like building an immense library of geometric knowledge from scratch, tailor-made for AI learning. The sheer volume and variety of data AlphaGeometry creates and learns from is phenomenal.
Now, let's cascade into the results of AlphaGeometry on the IMO benchmark. This is where the rubber meets the road, showcasing the real-world effectiveness of the system.
The moment of truth. How did it fare?
It's nothing short of a triumph. On a challenging 30-problem benchmark, AlphaGeometry solved an astounding 25 problems. This is state-of-the-art performance, eclipsing previous benchmarks.
That's a landslide victory in the world of geometry problem-solving.
Indeed, and there's more to it. The qualitative analysis of these solutions reveals their remarkable nature. It's not just about solving the problems, it's about the elegance and efficiency of the solutions.
It's like having a virtuoso mathematician providing insights into these complex problems.
Exactly. What's even more impressive is that its performance matches human expert assessment in specific years, like 2000 and 2015. It's as if a seasoned mathematician is at the helm, navigating through these intricate problems with ease.
Seeing such high-level performance from an AI system in a domain as nuanced as geometry theorem proving is awe-inspiring. AlphaGeometry isn't just a solver, it's an innovator in its own right.
Diving into the resilience of AlphaGeometry, let's navigate the findings of the ablation studies. These studies give us a window into the robustness of the system under various conditions.
A true test of strength. What were the conditions tested?
One key test was on the amount of training data used. Even with just 20% of the data, the system managed to solve 21 out of the 30 problems. It's like a mathematician who can solve complex puzzles even with limited information.
That's remarkable efficiency. It doesn't need a vast ocean of data to navigate through these problems.
Exactly. Another test was on the beam search space, reducing it by 64 times. Astonishingly, it still solved 21 problems. It's akin to an expert making sense of a complex situation with just a glance.
So it's not just about brute force or overwhelming data, there's real finesse in how it operates.
Precisely. And to top it off, AlphaGeometry also showed top performance on a larger 231 problem benchmark. This isn't just a one-hit wonder, it's a consistent performer across various challenges.
It's like watching a high-caliber athlete excel in different arenas. The adaptability and robustness of AlphaGeometry are genuinely groundbreaking in the field of AI and geometry.
Sailing into the realm of discovery, let's delve into how AlphaGeometry unearthed a fascinating generalization. This isn't just about solving problems. It's about expanding the horizons of mathematical knowledge.
Discovery, you say? That sounds thrilling.
Indeed, it is. Through proof traceback, the system can detect extraneous premises. Take a look at this figure. It's a generalized version of the IMO 2004 theorem. Here, point O doesn't have to be the midpoint, unlike in the original theorem.
So, it's like finding a hidden path in the theorem that even the original didn't fully explore.
Exactly. AlphaGeometry identified an unused premise in the translated statement of IMO 2004, leading to a more generalized version that still holds true. It's like peeling back layers to reveal a more profound truth.
That's not just solving, that's innovating. It's creating new mathematical ideas.
Precisely. This capability to conceive new mathematical concepts is a key strength of AlphaGeometry. It's not just a problem solver, it's a trailblazer, charting new territories in the mathematical landscape. As we reach the culmination of our journey through AlphaGeometry, let's reflect on the key achievements and gaze into the future possibilities. It's like standing on a peak, looking back at the path traversed and ahead at new horizons.
A moment to celebrate and anticipate. What are the standout accomplishments?
AlphaGeometry has set a new benchmark by establishing synthetic data for automated reasoning, liberating itself from the need for human demonstrations. It's like charting its own course in the vast sea of geometry.
That independence is a game changer.
Absolutely. It not only surpassed the average human contestant in IMO geometry, but also demonstrated the capacity to solve Olympiad-level problems without relying on human-generated proofs. This framework opens doors for theorem proving in areas plagued by data scarcity.
It's like a beacon of hope for areas where traditional data and methods fall short.
Indeed. And the journey doesn't end here. The future beckons with possibilities to refine this approach and achieve fuller human reasoning capabilities.
What's on the horizon for AlphaGeometry?
The roadmap includes expanding to a wider array of mathematical domains, exploring the correlation between proof length and difficulty, and pursuing a more complete representation of geometry. It's like setting sail for uncharted territories, armed with the knowledge and tools developed so far.
The potential here is boundless. AlphaGeometry isn't just a solution. It's a stepping stone to broader, deeper explorations in the world of mathematics and AI.